Alright, over Christmas I decided that I wanted to try out film photography. Now, I knew nothing about film photography, so I had to watch a couple of YouTube videos to A, learn about what's out there, and B, how to actually use a film camera. Things got a little out of hand and I ended up buying a lot of things. This is mainly because when I saw the prices for some of these cameras and lenses, I thought, oh my god, these are so cheap, this must be a once-in-a-lifetime deal. Not realizing that these were actually just the standard prices for some of these vintage lenses. So I ended up buying a camera and 4 lenses. Altogether, I spent £170 for a camera, 4 lenses, and this very stylish Mickey Mouse camera strap. So I've never actually used a film camera before. I don't know anything about how to use them. So before I actually head out today, I'm going to watch a couple of YouTube tutorials, how to load the film, how to expose your image, and so on. So the camera that I'll be taking out with me today is the Olympus OM2. I've heard very good things about it. Again, I don't really know that much about film photography yet, but by the sounds of it, pretty solid camera, fully manual, although it does have an automatic feature where you can set the aperture and it'll adjust the shutter speed automatically. Not sure how much I trust this feature. I'll use it a bit, but I'll probably mainly stick to manual. The 2 lenses that I'll be taking with me today are the 50mm, which is already on the camera, and this 200mm prime, which cost me about £20 or something. I'm especially excited about this one because for my digital Sony setup, I don't have a telephoto lens, I don't have anything that comes even close to 200mm. So I'm very excited to see what kind of shots I can get with this. Okay, so in Chinatown, got the film camera, and I want to take this shot where I look up and take kind of a picture of the lanterns with this thing with the calligraphy as leading lines. So, just trying to remember how to actually use this. I'm going to put my aperture to 1.8. I'm going to go into automatic, so then the shutter speed should be automatically adjusted. And boom. I think that's it. I've just changed over to my 200mm prime lens just because I want to see what the compression looks like with the Chinatown gate and all of those lanterns in the background. Just looking through now, I am way too close to the gate, so I'm going to back up like 100 meters or so and try to take this from way back there. We are this far from the Chinatown gate, and I'm just about able to fit it all into frame. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase my aperture just a little bit. So my aperture is on 5.6 just because I don't know if I back myself being able to focus it properly. Shutter speed is 1/60, that looks exposed. I'm going to try and focus on the Chinese writing on the gate. Pull the lever. And boom. Okay. On to the next shot. So, change back to the 50mm now because we're in Piccadilly Square and I want a picture of this statue. I was going to take a picture of the billboard, but I realized I didn't know how to compose it. I only get one shot. Then had a look and I think this looks kind of cool. So, I'm going to take a vertical shot, I think. Yeah, vertical shot. I'm going to go aperture 1.8. Go into manual. I just realized you can't actually see my screen anymore. And exposure wise, I need to go faster shutter speed. A bit faster. A bit faster. Oh. I'm at 1/1000, it's still overexposed. Okay. Aperture 2.8. Okay, f4. That's the one. Pull the lever. Sweet. Okay, I want to see if I can capture moving subjects with this lens. Let me get aperture 1.8. My shutter speed is 1/1000. That's as fast as I can go. I think I got that. It's really hard to tell if I'm focused or not because it's all manual focus and there's obviously no focus peaking, but I'm just kind of praying that I am. Sky? Yeah, I got the sky. Got a nice little old looking building. Let's have a look. So, next shot I need to wind it up. Aperture, I'll stay at 1.8, I think. Oh no, I'm overexposed. So, shutter speed is already at 1/1000, which is the maximum. So I'm now going to adjust the aperture to make the shot a bit darker because it was overexposed. Okay, so aperture at 4, shutter speed at 1/1000. Just gonna get a bit lower. Boom.
Now you don't know
Yeah, exactly.
What's inside.
I always instinctively look at the camera back, like, oh yeah, look at the shot. Oh, I wanted to get a picture of them taking a selfie, but it took way too long to get my settings. Oh, they're still there, so I need to focus. I think that shot was a bit out of focus, but hey, that's life.
Yeah.
That's life sometimes, you know. I've got the 200mm on again. Just gonna shoot that way and get like a shot of the bridge, the composition Dan just showed me. And maybe I'll wait for a bus as well. So while I'm waiting for the bus, I'm gonna try and get all my settings right. Aperture 5.6. I'll wait for the boat to go under the bridge. Yeah, that could be a cool shot. Actually, a horizontal shot might work. Bam, done.
You took it?
Yeah.
Nice.
I was waiting for the bridge to be in the middle of the shot.
Did you take horizontal?
Yeah, I did. Because I realized, well, these film photos aren't going on Instagram anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Right.
Shot of Big Ben from all the way over here, but because I'm shooting directly at the sky, it's so bright. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go aperture 8 and shutter speed 1000. So 1/1000 is the maximum shutter speed, and aperture 8 because it was still overexposed. I'm going to take this one vertical just so I can actually get Big Ben in it. Load up the next film. Focus on the clock face. It's quite hard to focus when you're holding it vertically. Boom. That's okay. I think the music is quite loud anyway. I'm just going to get a shot of this guy. And done. Onto the next. Let's just walk kind of towards St. Paul's area. I love this song. I like this shot, so I can kind of take a picture of St. Paul's between these lanterns. Let's try and get focus. And I can get some people, some blurry people in the foreground as well. As you all know, I love my foreground. Okay, so aperture's at 3.3, shutter speed at 500. Wind it up. Go vertical. I'm gonna wait for some cool people in the foreground. Boom. On we go. Okay, we are under a bridge. I kind of like the framing. You can see St. Paul's and Bank, and you kind of have this interesting looking arch just covering it. I'm gonna go for Bank just because I just took a photo of St. Paul's. Now I'm gonna go f1.8 and shutter speed 1/1000. Yep, f1.8, shutter speed 1/1000. I get a few people walking across as well. And some birds. There we go. Let's keep walking. I'm gonna go f2.8 just because it's quite bright. And shutter speed is still 1/1000. Just gonna get the classic symmetrical shot on Millennium Bridge. I love Millennium Bridge. It's like just a almost perfect leading line to St. Paul's. I'm gonna light up the shot. And 1, 2, 3. I might take another one from here, but I'm gonna change lenses and get like a mad compression shot to make it look a bit closer than it actually is. Let's see if that works. I don't know if 200 is gonna be too zoomed in, but let's see if it works. Love changing lenses. It's my favorite part of photography. Oh, could do this all day. So the lens cap off. Oh, perfect. Yeah, it just about fits. I was a bit worried that St. Paul's might be might be out of frame by the time. I was worried that St. Paul's might be out of frame if I go 200, but seems to work. So after 3.3, shutter speed a bit slower, 500 maybe. Wind it up. 1, 2. Awesome. Do you mind if we just go down again? I'm gonna take a 200 shot off this bridge, like facing that way. There's too many people on the bridge. I want an isolated subject. At Garden at 120. We're just getting some sunset shots. So I am on shutter speed 250 and aperture 5.6. I'm going to get a picture of the shard with these lovely orange clouds. I'm really excited to see what the colors look like. Obviously I can't edit anything. The shot that I take is the shot that I get. So let's see what the sunset colors look like on film. take one of the walkie-talkie. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to change lenses for this one. I'm trying to take it over here. Try to use this water as like a bit of a leading line. Can't really see it. It's really tricky because you have to look through the viewfinder. You can't just like tilt your display up and like get really close to the ground. Oh well, I think the shot was still pretty cool. I'm gonna take a picture of Shane taking a photo and we'll have fuck off. Okay, I'm gonna take it horizontally. 1, 2. Thank you. I had to go so far back to even like get you in it. Like look through the viewfinder, it's crazy.
Oh shit, yeah, I can see City Hall.
Yeah. The thing is, like, if I shoot anything apart from that sky, it's underexposed. So, what are my thoughts on film photography? I gotta say, I really like it. I especially like this sort of element of tactile feedback whenever you take a photo. You wind up the film, you mechanically press this shutter button. Whenever you adjust the aperture or shutter speed, you really feel the sort of gears turning inside the camera, making it feel much more real than a digital camera. I don't really know how to describe it in words, but those are kind of my initial thoughts on using this. I really like the fact that you kind of only get one shot per scene because you don't want to waste film. It almost forces you to think through the shot and your composition, get all your settings right before you hit that shutter button. And it's very different to the way I take photos in digital, where I just go into burst mode and take 1,000 pictures. And then once I get home, I then pick my favorite ones to edit. With this, you only get one shot, there's no editing, that's it, that's your picture. So I learned quite a few things when using this camera. First off, there's no stabilization, none whatsoever. So like all the modern Canon and Sony digital cameras that have some form of stabilization when you take a picture or when you film videos, this thing is almost like riding a bike without suspensors. Like you feel every little shake or every little bump in the road whenever you take pictures. Actually, before heading out to film this video, I saw a sunset and I wanted to see if I can take any low light pictures on this camera. So I put on the 200mm and tried to get a picture of Canary Wharf, but the shot was at about 1/40, which is a 40th of a second, which normally is completely fine with my Sony camera because it has inbuilt stabilization. Without that, however, the picture ends up being a blurry mess and is not usable. The second thing I learned was that manual focusing without focus peaking or any other digital tools or assistance that we get when using digital cameras is much harder than expected. Now, I backed myself a bit too hard when filming this video, sort of almost always going to aperture 1.8 to get that blurry background, to get that cinematic look. But a lot of the shots that I took were actually out of focus, just like these ones. So yeah, I had to learn the hard way that manual focusing is way more difficult than I thought. And going forward, I'm going to be taking photos at maybe f4 or generally just higher apertures, just to make sure that the depth of field is a little wider, which makes it a bit more forgiving when you make mistakes when focusing. And thirdly, this is really random, I don't know if people knew this, but the origin of ISO, this little thing on our digital cameras where we just make a picture brighter or darker, the origin of ISO is that when you buy film, so for example, this is the Kodak Gold 200, that 200 number, that's the ISO of this film. It's not something that you can just change in the camera. So yeah, if you wanted to take nighttime shots, for example, you would buy a different type of film. So for example, instead of ISO 200, you might buy ISO 400 or 800. Right, that concludes my first outing with the Olympus OM2 camera. A bit different to the more digital heavy stuff that I normally do. So let me know in the comments below if you like this type of content and if you'd like to see more of it. Overall, I really enjoyed playing around with this old film camera, the Olympus OM2, and I really look forward to getting better at film photography. It's, like I said, it's very different to the photography that I normally do, and it's just a refreshing change and gives that, I don't know, I kind of like that nostalgic feel it has. Anyway, that was all from me. It was awesome hanging out with you again, and I'll see you next week.